A lot of you will probably already know about the crimes and fate of Robert Maudsley, but if you don't, I'll give you a short summary. Maudsley's childhood was punctuated by years of abuse at the hands of his parents, especially his violent father. Early in his life, Maudsley was put into a care home by authorities due to parental neglect, as were several of his 11 siblings. When he was 9 years old, Maudsley's parents gained custody of him once again, and the poor treatment of them continued. Some of Maudsley's siblings would say that all of the children were beaten without prejudice, but others would say that Maudsley seemed to be targeted more than the rest of them. On one such occasion, Maudsley was locked in his bedroom for 6 months, where he said his father only opened the door to beat me. Later, he would claim that he had been raped as a child, too, though he never explicitly stated who committed the act. As a result, Maudsley left home aged 18, leaving his home city of Liverpool, England, to live around 200 miles away in London. Here, he turned to prostitution to survive, and soon turned to drugs. Over the next few years, Maudsley would be raped on a number of occasions and also attempted suicide several times. It was doing this job that Maudsley committed his first murder. Aged 21, he was picked up by a client and went back to his house. While there, the man showed Maudsley photographs of children that he had sexually abused. Maudsley snapped. He beat and strangled the man, then fled the scene. However, not long later, Maudsley seemed to realize just what he had done and went to the nearest police station, where he handed himself in and told him the address that they could find him in. Maudsley was subsequently arrested and, according to him, he believed that he would be able to get psychiatric help which would prevent him from offending again. He explained how he would go into fits of rage when triggered, and picture his parents. This, unfortunately, didn't happen, and he was sent to Broadmoor after being convicted of manslaughter due to diminished responsibility. If you're unfamiliar, Broadmoor is a high-security psychiatric hospital, with many of its patients coming from the criminal justice system, aka after they have been convicted of a crime. However, over the years there has been much controversy surrounding the establishment, including its treatments, or lack thereof, and inappropriate relationships between patients and staff. Amongst other things, Maudsley was in there for 3 years until he committed his next murder. David Cheeseman, another inmate, patient, and Maudsley cornered another man and took him hostage in the locker room. The man, child molester David Francis, was beaten, thrown against walls, and allegedly given electric shocks for 9 hours, until the pair eventually killed him. Throughout the ordeal, the pair had barricaded the door and made demands to see another inmate, as well as a psychiatrist. These were rejected. When guards were able to gain entry, they found Francis garroted, like Maudsley's first victim, and stabbed. The man's head was smashed open, like an egg, and it was initially believed that part of his brain had been eaten. This led to Maudsley being given the nickname Hannibal the Cannibal. An autopsy disproved this, but the nickname remained. Maudsley was sent to Wakefield Prison, aka Monster Mansion, where he warned prison officers against keeping him on an open wing amongst other prisoners, especially ones that had committed sexual crimes. This was ignored, and around a year later, Maudsley would become a serial killer while imprisoned. His third victim was Salney Darwood, who had assaulted and killed his wife. Maudsley killed him and hid him under his bed before going to seek another victim. He found convicted child molester Bill Roberts who he killed much in the same way he killed Francis. Then, Maudsley calmly made his way to the prison offices and handed over the bloody blade he used to kill Roberts, stating, "There'll be 2 short on the roll call." From then, it was agreed that Maudsley could not be kept amongst other prisoners as he was the most dangerous prisoner in Britain. So, a 5.5 meter by 4.5 meters cell was constructed of bulletproof glass deep in the basement of HMP Wakefield. He would be kept in there for 23 hours a day, only being let out for 1 hour of exercise while escorted by at least 6 guards. In his cell, there is a bed, a table and chair made from compressed cardboard, and a toilet and sink which were both bolted to the floor. Around a decade after he began living in the cell, psychiatrist Dr. Bob Johnson was allowed to have frequent visits with Maudsley. After a few years, he was even able to enter the cell with Maudsley. Soon after, though, contact would be stopped and he would never see Maudsley again. Dr. Johnson concluded that Maudsley is not deserving of the "most dangerous prisoner" label. He believes that Maudsley could be helped and rehabilitated.